Hi guys, I'm Jahangir Asif, your today's host, founder of Growjunction. Today we have with us Akshay Bhateja, who is a financial analyst in Amazon and alumnus of I'm Kojicode. Before joining Kojicode, he worked for more than 3 years as assistant manager in Maruti Suzuki, and before that he did his BTech from MNIT Bhopal. Let's hear about his journey from Akshay himself. Hi Akshay, can you share a bit about you?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. I am Akshay Bhateja. I'm born and brought up in Fazilka, Punjab. I did my schooling in Fazilka itself. After that, I did my undergraduation in mechanical engineering from NIT Bhopal. From NIT Bhopal, I got campus placed into Maruti Suzuki India Limited. I worked in Maruti Suzuki in the research and development vertical for close to 4 years. So my job role there was product development for automotive air conditioning systems. So after that, I did my MBA from IIM Kozhikode, and from there I got campus placed into Amazon, into Amazon's leadership role, which is AFBP, Amazon Future Builders Program. So in the Amazon Future Builders Program, I am into the finance bit of it. So AFBP finance is broadly, you have stints of one year each into the 3 domains of finance. So Amazon finance is divided into 3 types.
Okay.
So the one being the finance operations. So I'm currently into finance operations. So my second stint will be into the operations finance or consumer finance, and the third one will be in the remaining thing. So before going into my job role, let me explain you a brief about what is the difference between these 3 things.
Okay. We will get into detail. First, I wanted to know, like, you got into finance role.
Right.
So you were like interested in going to finance. So like, why would you wanted to get into the finance role? What was the motivation?
Yeah, so right from the beginning, I liked numbers. So it was one of the bit of entering into finance. But when I decided of opting finance as a career after my MBA, that was not the only option which I had in mind. Because since I came from product development as a pre-MBA workex, I also had a backup as a product development option, because many of the companies don't give you flexibility of opting into finance if you're not from the finance background pre-MBA. But fortunately, Amazon provides that flexibility. So there I got a shot and I cracked it.
Okay. So like, I guess the job, we will talking about the job role. First, I wanted to know, like, do you have also wanted to get into investment banking or something? Or you wanted to first explore the core finance and then transition into the finance role?
Not investment banking was not my target in the first place, because I wanted to start small, and then with time, if I feel interested, I wanted to switch to investment banking, but that was not my first target as such.
So I want a brief description about the this role, financial analyst. As you said, there's a 3 thing in this role. There's a finance operation, then operation finance, and third one I forgot to
Consumer finance.
consumer finance. So can you tell me, someone who doesn't know, suppose much about those things, can you explain in a short and brief so that people can understand?
Sure. So the first one is finance operations. So as the name suggests, it is basically the operations day in, day out activity. If I get quote an example, Amazon signs different type of contracts with the vendors who provide us business.
Vendors like sellers who sell their things on Amazon.
Right. So we have different type of agreements with the sellers basis the whether we'll be transporting goods for them or they'll be transporting goods for us, or we have damage allowance, we have overstock allowance, and different types of allowances. But what happens is, at points in time, vendor may feel that the billing which Amazon did to the vendor is not as per the agreed terms. So vendor raises a dispute. So I'm currently into the disputes team. So why I say operations? Because day in and day out, you have a disputes inflow, which are resolved as per the SOP, and the resolution is provided to the vendor. So this is the first, which is finance operations. The second one is the operations finance. So
Okay.
operations finance, as the name suggests, it's all about the operations in the warehouse and managing the resources and the finance over there. It can be any warehouse in India.
Okay. Okay.
And the third one, we talk about consumer finance. It is the consumer facing products, be it Amazon Pay, be it Prime Video, be it co-branded credit cards and stuff like that. So these are the three different types of finance in Amazon.
Okay. Okay. So in consumer finance is something like we see from a consumer perspective, we see a lot of product categories on Amazon, from
Right.
homeware to the t-shirt to other categories. So suppose there are sellers on the Amazon website who sells their products, and there are also some of the Amazon sellers like Cloud Tail or something which owned by
Mhm.
the Amazon. They sell it.
Right.
So the financial part comes like when suppose for particular product categories, some numbers of sales happened.
Right.
So the profit that Amazon earned, the profit that the seller earned, who this part covers in this consumer finance or something else?
Yeah, like you said, it is covered in the consumer finance.
Hmm.
So one of the parts of consumer finance is that you own the P&L of a particular GL. GL is a group ledger, like be it shoes. So one person will be owning the P&L of shoes category throughout the Amazon,
Okay.
and they are divided into various categories as such. Shoes is I quoted as an example.
Okay. Okay. So for each category, there is someone to take care of.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. The categories are like hard lines, soft lines, and then there are different like shoes, watches, etc. in the hard lines, and similarly stuff in the soft line.
Okay. Okay. So let's come down to the subjects that you have taken in your MBA. Which subject you think that will be beneficial for someone who into finance and want to get into this kind of role like core finance?
Right. So the first thing is it's not the subjects in particular which you have to take for entering into finance, but the only thing short is you have to take electives of finance so as to convince the interviewer that you are interested in building your career in finance.
Any kind
So
of certification also important?
certification, I had a few online, but I don't say that they add much value as much as the value is added by the electives.
Okay.
Yeah. So in my case, there were 3 interviews in campus for Amazon. In the first interview of mine, it went majorly on my resume. But at the end of the interview, the interviewer was that finance is a supporting role. You are already working into a product role. So product is the face of the company. Why do you want to go to a back-end role? So at that point in time, I felt like I've ruined my interview process and I might not get a chance to the further rounds. But luckily, I got a chance into the second round. So in the second round, I tried answering the questions in a manner which exhibited my interest in finance.
Okay.
So the one thing which worked for me was that in our times there was a course in the final semester, and it was about the how you come up with a business idea, do financial bit of it, and present it as a startup idea to the external as well as college internal stakeholders.
Okay.
So for that project, I had done the financial calculations of it, like this much is the investment required, this much will be the turnover in first, second, and third year. This is the projected cash flows, this is the profit, and this much investment we require to start it. So that really helped me in presenting my financial interest and helping me crack the finance interview.
Okay, so you take an example of that particular project that you did, and
Right.
explain the whole thing in detail how you did it, and through that you express that you actually detail the whole process, and interview got to know that you are the guy who are each actually into the finance, and you will be suited for that particular role.
Right.
Any other thing a student are supposed to do in the particular interviews to any kind of technical questions are asked directly in the interview also, or
Mhm.
any kind of like CFA certification a lot of finance enthusiasts do, they need to do
Mhm.
it compulsory in order to crack into finance role?
So I'll answer this question into two parts. So one is, if we talk about Amazon in particular, they see if are you able to exhibit leadership principles in your past work or in your college projects,
Okay.
right? So in my past work there was Maruti work. It was nowhere related to finance, but I had electives to back up my interest there, and it worked for me. And the second part of the answer is that you need to modify things in a manner that you are able to exhibit your interest. So why I say so is, in my case, they asked me a case study, a financial case study. So it was that what will be your decision points if you want to launch Alexa in the market, right? So students generally prepare for case interviews for the consulting roles, right?
Yes, yes. A
And
guess,
that
guess
preparation,
estimate. And
right.
Yeah.
That preparation helped me answering this question as well. And I asked the interviewer that, could you allow me 2 minutes of time? I structured my thoughts over the paper and then presented my answer in a manner that the interviewer was more than convinced with my answers and approach.
Okay, okay. That's great. So any like they don't have to especially prepare for the case study round for Amazon. You are saying that even if you prepare for the case study round for the consulting or finance role, it will be helpful for to cracking that particular role.
Right.
Or any kind of like extra edge they're supposed to know, like business case also plus guess estimate combined together will be helpful.
Yeah. So like from my peers who got interviewed for Amazon, the case study was not asked for all of them. It was there in my case, however. So there's not a hardcore set rule, but yeah, whatever you are best prepared with, you have to exhibit your 100% on the D-Day. That's what I can say here.
Okay. So, what do you think an interviewer looks in a candidate? What kind of a skill set or qualities they look for when they actually selecting a finance enthusiast? Because I guess for a company like Amazon, they go through a very talented pool of students,
Right.
and there are very few jobs available. So,
Right.
what do you think is the main thing that will outshine you in front of interviewer?
Right. So as I told, in the campus, there are 3 interviews for Amazon. So the first interview is typically taken by the hiring manager. So hiring manager is someone who is allocating resources for you to hire, right? So my first interview was mainly on the leadership principles and how I exhibited them with my past work, whatever was mentioned in my resume. And the second interview is taken by someone from the finance domain, but not from the same team as your hiring manager, right? So am I fit to transition my career from product development to a finance career, right? And the third round in Amazon is a bar raiser round, and is taken by anyone. That person may or may not be even from finance. In my case, the person was not from finance.
Okay.
So the role of the bar raiser is that are you at least 50% better than the existing Amazon population in the same level they are hiring you for?
Okay.
So that is the criteria there.
Okay. Is there any kind of like objective test or something, or is generally based on the question they asked you at that particular interview, in that particular interview?
So before the interview rounds, there is a online assessment test. So there, I won't say it's an objective test, but the test basically tells you situations.
Okay.
And then you have 4 to 5 options. You are asked to select options in a ascending or descending order. If I got an example, that example will be that let's say tomorrow is the launch of a product, and the product manager for that launch has gone on leave because of unforeseen circumstances, right? That project manager was reporting to you. How will you tackle the situation? Number 1, you postpone the launch. Number 2, you get to see the paperwork that person has done, allocate some other person to the job so that it is getting done, right? Then maybe you will select the first option, which is postpone the project date as a second priority, and the first priority obviously being how to turn around the situation. in a manner that you are not missing the deadlines.
Okay, okay. So I wanted to know, like, you've been like almost a year. You've been in Amazon.
Right.
What do you think, like, cultural wise? You have worked in other organization. What do you think? What separates Amazon from other companies?
Right. So the one thing which I feel separates Amazon from other companies is ownership.
Hmm.
So even if this is my first role in finance,
Hmm.
so the level of ownership which was given to me was tremendous.
Hmm.
So
Can you
why?
explain a bit about ownership with an example, like?
Yeah, sure, sure. Let me do that. So I'm into the disputes team, right?
Hmm.
So the disputes team hierarchical structure is that the disputes are generally resolved by an L2 or L3 analyst.
Hmm.
And then there is an L4 people manager
Hmm.
to whom these L2 or L3 analysts report.
Hmm.
Then there is a L5 to whom these L4s report,
Hmm.
and in turn an L6, and there the entire org is closed,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I am an L5 joinee as a part of AFBP role,
Hmm.
and I am not doing any of the day-to-day works in the team, right? So what I'm doing?
Hmm.
So in the disputes, we have internal service level agreements that
Hmm.
we should be resolving the dispute in X number of days,
Hmm.
right? Then we have our annual goals that if last year, let's say, just quoting the numbers hypothetically, if last year 70% of disputes were resolved within service level agreement,
Hmm.
this year 75% should be resolved within service level agreement.
Hmm.
Now, my job is to identify the bottlenecks or the gaps. If I talk specifically in MBA terms, we have Lean Six Sigma as a project, right?
Hmm.
So my job is to identify wastes in the process.
Hmm.
I tell proposals how to eliminate those wastes
Hmm.
so that we are able to achieve the goals. So in my current role, talking about ownership, I define what I need to do. I talk to the stakeholders who will get the job done. I ask for resources, be it technical resources, be it financial resources, and I deliver the results at the end of the day. There's no one to handhold me that Akshay, hey Akshay, this is your first finance role. Do this, do that, do this. Nothing like that. You do the way you want. At the end of the day, you should be able to deliver result.
Yes, that's a prime importance, and I would say the ownership is the main key for any job after MBA, because a lot of students or a lot of freshers have this thing that everything will be told to them, and whatever they're supposed to know or do, some leadership will tell them that this is how it need to be done. They are in this they think like this, but actually what you need to do in perform in a job, that you need to be very proactive. You need to be like, take the ownership of the things and find a solution of the problem that you face. It should not be like you reaching out to leadership every time, because leadership will be busy in making hundreds of decision, and if you go to them like, suppose 10 decision or something, then you're overloading their tasks, so you're not reducing the task for them, you're overburdening them. So it's a very important for MBA student basically to take the ownership of the things. uh, Apart from ownership, what other skill set you will say that is very important on the soft skill side?
Right. So, since as a fresher, whenever you join any new company, and Amazon in particular, the skill set which I see as very important is learn and be curious. It is also one of the Amazon's leadership principle.
Yes.
You have to be curious about the things, get to know them in a better and a deeper fashion, and then you are able to propose changes in a manner that people have not done before. So this is one part of it. If I quote example from my past 1 year, how I went about this leadership principle. So for entire 1 month, what I did was that I asked my team to help me resolve the disputes in a manner that an L2 and L3 analyst does. So that there is also a term in Japanese called 3G. So that is going to the actual place, performing the actual stuff, and then getting to know what it's all about. Because seeing the things at high level is not the way Amazon works. They always dive deep and see how the stuff works on a ground level. And then they respect you for proposing the changes and stuff like that.
Okay, my next question is on COVID. Like, you know that COVID happened, everything was running online. So how then, how you manage all of these things, because you joined, I guess, in online mode. and
Right.
every job that you are doing right now, also you are in at home, I guess. So every job you are doing is from home. So what do you think, uh, what challenges you face and how easy for you to get things done being in at home?
So I will say that there is something called learning by osmosis,
Hmm,
right? Where you learn with your peers in the company over a cup of tea.
hmm, hmm,
That is missing in the online setup.
hmm,
So what you need to do in online setup is uh, be non-hesitant about reaching out to people
hmm,
over the internal, whatever in Amazon it is time, or the teams in other companies,
hmm,
and ask for help.
hmm,
uh, Make up a frequent sessions with the team, with your managers. Like, I have a fortnightly setup with my managers with no
hmm,
agenda, but
hmm,
where whatever feedback he wants to give me, he can give me.
hmm.
Whatever assistance I need from him, I can get from him.
Okay.
And that sort of setup is required for you to join in online mode.
Hmm.
Having said that, I feel at times I feel that we are at an upper edge in the online setup, because we also did our MBA projects in the online setup.
Hmm.
So we are well aware of what to do and how to do. At
Hmm.
times, I feel that doing my day-to-day job is similar to doing my MBA projects, which we
Okay.
are very well versed in doing in online fashion.
What
So
do you
yeah.
what do you think, this online mode will increase the productivity or decrease the productivity going forward? Like a lot
So
of companies
that's
also put up a hybrid model. Sometime you need to do work from home, sometime you can come to office. There are also companies who have given a complete freedom to employee to choose from which, like
Mhm.
if they want to work from totally from work from home and coming to office. What do you think as per your opinion?
Yeah, so for talking about Amazon in particular, in Amazon, individual VPs need to decide whether they want to call their teams back to home,
Hmm,
back to office, or they want them to work from home itself.
hmm,
So talking about productivity, if I go by the facts and figures,
hmm,
uh, the my team has been working online since the beginning of COVID first wave. Have
hmm,
never been to office
hmm,
even single time, and
hmm.
they have not missed the goals so far. The annual
Okay.
goals which I was talking about in the beginning.
Hmm,
So, but I won't say that that should be the case for all the teams or all the companies,
hmm,
because that might vary from job to job, and job requirement varies from team to team or
hmm.
with company to company. So yeah.
Okay. Coming on to different side of the things, like I guess in a student or anyone who has gone through a ladder of success, you got into NIT, you got into IM Kojiko, and now you are working in Amazon. There might be a times of success and a failures. How you like deal with those things? Can you shed some light on that? Like how you suppose many of the time you may feel get failures in your attempt, how you cope up with that and go forward and plan to succeed again?
Right. So a very short answer to that will be perseverance.
Hmm,
The more perseverant you are in achieving the set goal,
hmm,
the more easier will it be for you to channelize your efforts in a manner that you are able to achieve your goals. So hurdles come for everyone in their lives.
hmm.
So if I quote an example, uh, just before my MBA placement times, my grandfather expired, and
Okay.
I was in campus back then.
Hmm,
So I did not have the flexibility of moving out from campus and visiting
hmm,
home to console my parents or stuff like that, because it was COVID zone. Once you are out of the campus,
hmm,
it takes certification, that 15 days, what do we call it, that
hmm.
isolation and stuff like that.
Isolations, yeah.
Right. So I was not able to make it. That was a setback. But then you have to deal with such setbacks, and life is a show, and the show must go on.
Yes, yes, yes. That's the thing, that positive mentality need to be always there. There will always be challenges, and challenges will always be more than the good things that you will be getting. But you need to uh, push back and always strive forward in order to overcome those challenges.
Right.
So coming on to the last part of this podcast, I anything that you want to like suggest, like any books that you have recently read which created a good impact on you? Uh,
Yeah. So not a book, but I follow a newsletter which is called the Ken. They talk about the business scenarios on a daily basis.
The Ken, Ken.
KEN.
Okay.
Right. So it's a very interesting read. And second thing, since we were talking about work from home and COVID thing, so one thing is for sure that working from home is not similar to doing MBA from home, because in the MBA time you have peers of similar age group, right, with whom you can chit chat, vent out your frustration and stuff like that. However, it might not be the case after your MBA. Talking about me in particular, in my team, most of the people are like who are at my level are also like 10 years of work ex, 12 years of work ex. Maybe after BCom they joined and they were moving up the career ladder. Most of them are not MBAs.
Okay.
So for like tackling that situation, what I did was I go for workout on a daily basis and I never miss it. Whenever I am unable to do that because of XYZ circumstances, I feel that my day is not complete. Okay. So that is the way you need to maybe balance your work-life balance. You need to create there so that you are motivated and you're happy while doing the job.
So you do running or you do go to gym?
I go to gym for workout.
Okay. That's good to know. Also, anything about Growjunction? We recently launched this platform in order to help the B school student. So anything that any line that you want to share about Growjunction?
Yeah, it's a nice platform wherein students can get to know about the see, aspiration is one thing which students have, right? They always want to talk to someone who has recently achieved those milestones or those aspirations. So that sort of bridging the gap was the requirement of the market. And I feel happy to see Growjunction doing it and feel happy to be part of the podcast as well.
Okay. Thank you, Akshay. Thank you for the time, valuable time. I guess this podcast will be very helpful for the students, and I hope you take care of yourself also. And once again, thank you for the time, taking out the time for doing this podcast.
Thank you for the opportunity, and it was nice interacting with you.